Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Books, Business, and Brunch with Victorious Youth Press. And I am here with my co host, Leslie Cottrell. We will be back in about 1 minute after our intro. Well, hello there.
Hello.
Listen, our intro is the bomb. And you would have thought that I would have already put it on the group because I had like 1 minute and 21 seconds and I still ain't shared it to the group yet.
Oh,
But
good.
it's coming now. It's
There
coming
you go. Hey, as long as it gets there.
as long as it gets there. Well, hello there, Leslie. How are you?
Oh, good, Joan. How are you today?
I
Yeah.
have a little I have a little whatever this is, a splint to repair what may or may not be a fracture. So, but outside of that, I'm in good spirits. All is well. I did Jesus Jonah Journal this morning, and I'm back here again at 12:30, and I'm just blessed to be able to do the things that God has called me to do.
That's
Which
right.
leads us to our conversation today.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
great segue, my friend.
So, if you're joining us for the first time, I'm Joan T. Randall. I'm the founder of Victorious You Press, a publishing company, and we help people write their best-selling books so that they can monetize their impact, they can create legacies, and they can build businesses from their book. And I'm going to turn it over so my co-host will introduce herself, and she will tell you what the topic is, and we'll get into it. Go ahead, Leslie.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Leslie Cottrell, and I am the COO at Victorious Shoe Press, and I am a book writing coach. And what that means is that I just help new writers and almost new writers that have an idea but are not quite sure how to make it into a book. So I work with them to take that idea all the way through the writing process, straight through to publishing. So I'm your little behind the scenes collaborator. And today we want to talk about what Joan touched on just a minute ago. We're talking about that intersection where faith meets entrepreneurship. And it's a powerful conversation, and there are so many layers to this topic. But if you are an entrepreneur watching us today, we'll bless you for being an entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur, you know that it requires a good amount of faith and resilience to be an entrepreneur, to navigate all the waters that can be so tumultuous in that journey of taking a startup and creating something that is a lasting legacy. But we want to go a little bit farther, a little bit deeper with that today, and not just talk about the resiliency of it, but there are so many other aspects to it. And I know Joan's got some things that she wants to share with us as she's getting situated there and adjusting that. And I can tell you, I had one on the opposite hand, and I can tell you that they get very uncomfortable. So you got to give yourself a little relief from that every now and then. So, Joan, I'll turn it back over to you, and then I'll kind of fill in the blanks if we need it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Let me just say hello to those who are watching. Hey, Lisa. I'm so excited. You're going to be a part of my anthology. Hey, Lisa. So, welcome to Lisa and Lynette. I see that you're watching. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you guys here. So, I love this whole thing about faith and business, right? And the intersection of faith and entrepreneurship. And as a woman of God, as a believer, as a Christian, a lot of times there is this uncertainty about bringing faith into business. So you'll hear people say, right, I don't want to bring my world into my business world, or I don't think I should talk about Jesus, or I don't think I should pray. And for years, Leslie, I was on that same kind of pathway, right? I'm like, I don't know if I'm comfortable. I don't know if I'll lose people, right? I don't know if I'll lose a client because I say I'm a Christian, or because I pray, or because I don't want to mix the two. Like, I want to have church over here and then I want to have business over here. But as time went on and I got to be wiser and I got to study the Bible more, and I realized that it is all the same. Like, it really is the same, honestly, because entrepreneurship is a faith walk.
It is.
It's a faith walk because, number one, you don't know where you're going. You don't know how it's going to go. You have no idea of the results. You don't know if you're going to win, lose, fall down, get back up. People will shop, buy, whatever, right? So the whole business of entrepreneurship is a faith walk. And when I say faith, faith is something that you hope for, although the evidence is not yet there, right? It's something that you hope for because the Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So it's this intersection of believe if it's going to happen or not, or right. So I think it's the same thing. If you think about it, faith and entrepreneurship is one and the same.
Right.
And in faith, you have to believe in something that is not yet manifested, right? Or you have to believe in something that you have not yet seen, or you have to hear something, and then through hearing, whether it's a download or your own thoughts or your vision board, you put it on paper, you write it down, but you truly don't know what the results are going to be. And that's entrepreneurship. You can you can open a store and say, I'm opening this restaurant in this neighborhood because they need it. But you really don't know if it's going to be profitable.
Right.
Until you take the action and open the store, right? And that's a faith walk. That's knowing that you have the gift to do something, but you're not sure of the results. So there is this intersection of faith and business. And I believe that, my work is my worship and my business is my ministry. So for me, as a woman of God, as a believer, as a kingdom builder, my business and my faith journey, they intertwine. I'm right there in the middle. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. And, I think it's very interesting to watch people as they step more into their faith and become a little bit more open about sharing it, whether it's personally or whether it's in business, because the truth is that the faith itself can help to build the resilience and the strength. And when you see the fruit of that and you feel yourself to your core become stronger, and it is a step. You step up. You just saw this amazing thing come to fruition. And now your faith has been strengthened because you've seen the works come to be. And now you are less afraid to utilize your faith and step out in faith. And then you see more rewards for that. And so as that faith walk goes on, you become much stronger, much more resilient, which are two things that are needed to be in business for yourself.
Absolutely. Resilience, faith, agility, You have to be flexible to the needs. You got to move, you got to shake, you got to duck, you got to come over here, you got to change that model, you got to fix that again, right? It's all the things that is entrepreneurship. And I want to share this because I did this on my Jesus Journal one day, Leslie, and I wanted to share it here because a lot of times people hold back from walking out their purpose, especially if it's business related. And that's what we're talking about today. But a lot of times people are afraid to walk out their faith journey when it comes onto business because they're not sure where to get certain things from. And one of the biggest things that holds people back from walking out their entrepreneurship journey is capital. And the reason why I want to bring it back to books to business and beyond is because I know that people use money as the deciding factor of whether or not they do something or don't do something. And so we have made money an idol. We have
Mhm.
made money a god. We have made money the god of gods that say, if I don't have it, I can't do this. We have made money the god of our lives that say, oh, I don't have the money to pay for a book to be published, so I'm not going to write the book. We have made money an idol or a god to say that because I don't have the money, I can't go over here and take a course or a class so I can get more proficient in walking out my entrepreneurial dreams, right? So we have made money this God, this idol, right? And idol really is anything we love more than our obedience to God. That is what idolatry is. The thing that we love more than our obedience to God. And so if our God is telling us, start that business, write that book, do this, and we are saying money is the issue why I can't, then we just made money our idol.
And it can be an idol and a stumbling block at the same time. So don't misunderstand that if you're hearing that for the first time. It can be your idol and it can be what you are using or other forces are using to be a stumbling block.
Absolutely. And I want to say hello to Minister Hope. Thank you, my love, for jumping on. And Lynette, it's nice to see. I think I said hello to Lynette already. And so because I know about this in the entrepreneurial world about money, I wanted to show the audience, the viewing audience here at Books to Business and Beyond, that there's so many other things that are capital related that doesn't have to be financial capital. And I just want to share this with the audience to say there's ways of going around the money tree to do a business, to write a book, or all the other things that comes with being an entrepreneur. So I wanted to share this, and I've shared this on my over on Jesus Journal, but I just thought this needs to be shared again. What I have on the screen right now is your capital. And your capital means all the things that you're doing to start something. Capital means I need this thing in order to carry out the function for my business, my ministry, my mission, the marketplace, right? And so we always think that capital is only money, but I wanted to show that there are other things that capital means that outside of the financial piece, right? I always say that human capital is even more powerful than financial capital because who you know can take you into a place and sit you at the seat of a table that money could not get you at that seat, right? Is who you know versus what you know. So sometimes, not even education sometimes can get you to some table. It's who you know, right? The influencer or someone of influence that can change the trajectory of your life. So I wanted to bring this on the screen to show the different types of capital outside of financial capital. And social capital relates to the network of relationships and community connections that are supportive. Human capital is the skills, talents, and experiences of the people that surrounds us. who they know, their abilities, their skills, their counseling, their expertise. Cultural capital is understanding and appreciation of cultural contents and diversity. This is where DEIB comes in: diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And even, as you know, going to Kenya to do a business in 20, when did I go to Kenya? 2021, right? I had to understand their culture in order to be able to go to Kenya and talk about books to those people. Because there's a saying in Kenya that says, if you want to hide something from a Kenyan, put it in a book. That is a
Oh,
saying, I'm telling you. And
okay.
they're educated. They're educated, right? So they love scholastics. They love anything scholarly, right? But outside of that, they're not avid readers. And when I went there and I was talking about, the 8 P's of the pen, there was this joke. They were the one that told me the joke that if you want to hide something from a Kenyan, put it in a book. I
Wow.
was flabbergasted, right?
Wow.
But cultural capital is something that can also help you in terms of who your audience is, what you know about your audience, and your proficiency in what you provide to your audience. And then, of course, the reason why I have spiritual and emotional in the middle, because that's the core, that's the nucleus, that's the nuclei, right? So, spiritual capital is faith. This is where faith comes in. This is where wisdom comes in. This is where the spiritual depth of who you are as a leader comes in. And then the emotional capital is your emotional well being. Am I resilient, right? Can I persevere through this thing? Can I, do I have support systems that can help me if I feel overwhelmed or if I feel like my business isn't working? And can I cope with the stress and the challenges that comes with being a business owner? I don't care how much money you have. And every time I think about this emotional part, I'm reminded of the comedian who killed himself, right? He was an actor, comedian. He started Mrs. Doubtfire,
Robin
right?
Williams.
Robin Williams. I loved him. He had everything going for him. He had a family, he had a wife, he had children, he had money. He was popular as a comedian, he was beloved as an actor. But his emotional and mental well being made him feel as if he was unworthy, as if he was unloved. And he took his life in his bathtub in the home where his wife and children were. Right? So it goes back to this whole thing about emotional capital. He had all the financial capital in the world, yet his emotional and mental well being wasn't where it, with all of his successes. And we'll never know why it took his life. But you've got to go back and think about it. It has to be an emotional and mental breakdown that made him feel as if he could not continue living, right?
Right.
And so that's why it's so important with the spiritual and emotional capital where faith meets entrepreneurship. And then you have physical, which is what else do you have? Tangible things. This is where assets, land, budgets, equipment, all of those stuff comes in. And then the service capital. I'm not even talking about financial today. And then here we go for the service capital. As you serve and you sow, so you get the return and the reward. A lot of things I learned about business and about events is because I went to serve someone. You and I served together at a Lisa Nichols conference. You and I served a publisher.
Right.
So we're in a space where we served, and now we are recognizing the fruits of our service, and now we are writing books and publishing books. So I wanted to show the audience this particular slide because I wanted you to see that in entrepreneurship, faith and entrepreneurship goes hand in hand. And it doesn't matter if you're not a believer. It doesn't matter if you are a believer or not. That is what I meant to say, that there is a level of faith that every entrepreneur has because they're believing in something that they know is true of what they can produce, and they believe that it will be successful, although they don't know 100% of the time if it is,
Right.
right? So what do you say about that?
Yeah, I was thinking about, um, what do we always talk about when we are marketing? We just talked about this in our webinar last week, that people will buy from someone that they know, like, and trust. And what is the foundation of that sentence? It is authenticity, right? If you are not authentic with who you are and all of who you are, then people will not feel that they can know you, because you're hiding something, you're keeping something back. And when you begin to embrace all of who you are, and I'm not saying that either in your personal life or your professional life, they just need to let it all hang out there, not at all. But what I am saying is embrace all of who you are. And if your faith is a part of that, then sharing that will sort of put you in a position where you are attracting like-minded colleagues,
Mhm.
like-minded clients, like-minded partners, as Joan and I are, and you're just fostering those very genuine connections that wouldn't happen otherwise. And you're also leading by example. When
Yeah.
you bring your faith into your workplace, into what you do as an entrepreneur, you are showing others that it can be done. You are showing others how it can be done. And you're influencing lives in a positive way, in a powerful way, and you can show how it can enhance your ethics as a professional, and what your dedication is all about. You're embodying all of those attributes. And I think sometimes, as people who are a little bit new in their faith walk, they may say, well, I don't think I know enough yet
Yeah.
to really share who I am in a faith perspective. But you don't have to do it all at once. You can do it sort of on a gradual basis and talk about the things that you do know about, talk about the things that you are comfortable with, and gradually build that relationship as you gain more confidence. What do you think about that, Joan?
I love it. And I was writing some words down that you touched on because I love words. I'm a words person. And you talked about influence, you talked about showing others, you talked about ethics. And when I hear ethics, I think about integrity. You talk about attributes. And I wanted to take this back to what we love and the business we're in of books, right? And a lot of times people think that when you write a book, you're not an entrepreneur or a business owner. That very book could be the start of your business. That
Exactly.
very book could be entrepreneurship. And I wanted people to understand that. Don't think that your story is not worthy of turning it into a business. Your very story, your own story, is the bottom rung of the ladder to the start of your business. So if you're listening to me today, and if you're saying to yourself, you know what, I don't have a business per se, I don't have a ministry per se, I don't have a mission trip, I don't have a women's group, I don't have this, but I know you have a story. I know you have a story, and that story is worth sharing. That story is worth telling, because you are not alone in that story. You and I had a conversation today about a book we're getting ready to publish down the road. And this young lady was kind of sold by her mother into trafficking. I cannot wait for that book to come out, but she is not the only one. And it's still going on today, and it's still happening in this world today. Imagine the impact that her book is going to have when it comes out. So don't neglect or overlook your story, because your story could be the purpose. Your story could be that business idea. Your story could be that thing that allows you to influence people, right? That allows you to show others how you were able to persevere, that allows you to show your integrity, how you lived up to your integrity. Although your starter years may be tumultuous, right? You were able to overcome that. And through integrity and hard work and the driving force and the skill of will, right? The will that's inside, the skill of the will that you have in you. Now you have this level of ethics and integrity that you can say to someone else, I have been there, but this is what I did with my life. You can do it too. And then all of the attributes you gain as you are navigating through your life, the truth telling, um, being a woman of integrity, a man of integrity, being honest, right? Being respectful, being on time, being, all the great attributes. This is a business, but it's your story.
Right.
And so I wouldn't be, or Leslie wouldn't be a author coach, and I wouldn't be a publisher if we didn't take this whole entrepreneurship back to your book. So I want you to know that, hey, I see some people jumping on. Hey, Sonia, nice to see you. Hey, cousin Pauline. My cousin Pauline has been on this morning over one page and now over.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. I love it. And hey, Dr. Laxley. Dr. Laxley joined too. So it's nice to see you, sir. But yeah, so that is what we wanted to share, right? And if you're joining late, you can go back and watch the replay again. All of our videos live on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, Victorious You Press. Please go and follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow that channel. Lord, it's hard to grow it over there. But go and like and subscribe. And then we have playlists. So you can go to the Books, Business, and Brunch playlist. You'll get a replay of this, or you can go to Jesus, Joan, and Journal, and you'll be able to see the form that we shared about capital. But that's what we have for you today. Any parting words, Leslie, about what we have coming up? You want to?
Oh boy, we have a lot of things coming up. So let's talk about our latest new thing. We are putting together a powerful class on
don't tell them on what yet.
All right. We're putting together a powerful
class. Yes.
You're just gonna have to wait and see. But if you are a business owner,
yeah,
and you're thinking about publishing a book, or you're wondering how it could serve your business, you are going to be very, very excited to hear the details about what is coming up next.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. Well, guys, I think this is it for our show today, Books, Business, and Brunch. We are so excited that you joined us today. We're here on Mondays at 12:30. You can find us in our group, Books to Business and Beyond, on our YouTube page and on my personal page, Joan Thaxter Randall. So we're here. We're always talking about books. We're talking about business and beyond, how you can write one book and it can turn into business. That's what Victorious You Press is, right? We wrote a book. Then later on, we decide to turn the book into a publishing company. And that's what we did. So because we do it, Leslie has done it. I have done it. Because we have done it, we know you can do it too. All right. So don't neglect the story that's on the inside, because that may just be the purpose that God placed you here for. All right. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's all I have. Any closing remarks, Leslie, before we say goodbye?
Keep writing, everyone.
Yay. And yes. And let me just see what Angela said. Yes, the couples that I work with are like-minded. I'm always so thankful how God draws couples to me that have the same spirit. Amen. Amen to that. To God be the glory. And don't forget, right, the pen creates an indelible moment in time that can never be erased. So as Leslie says, keep writing. All right, guys, that's it for us. We will see you next week, Monday. God bless you. Thank you for being here and have a fantastic week. See you tomorrow morning on Jesus, Joan, and Journal.